Hello, everyone. I am Jane Dyer, the president of the Rotary Club of Greenville. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Greenville meeting today. We are so happy to have Alexis Garcin speaking with us today. And Alexis, just to let you know, everybody in Greenville has a connection to Michelin. And for me personally, my husband was fortunate to be one of your corporate pilots years ago. And so we are very thankful and grateful for that. And he loved that job. So I'm sure everybody at Michelin loves their job. And we're just thrilled to have you with us today. I also would like to welcome all of our guests. If you're with us today as a guest, we would love for you to go into the chat and give us your name and whom you work for. And just would love for you to learn more about Rotary. For people who are corporate members that work with Michelin or other corporations, we do have a corporate membership, so we'd love to discuss that with you if you are interested. And of course, we're very happy to have all our Rotarians with us today. So thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to today's program. And remember to go into the chat and let us know if you're visiting. We will start off our meeting today with Connie Lancel, who's going to lead us in the Invocation and Pledge.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Before the invocation starts, we would like to remember two members of our Rotary family who passed away this month, Pamela Rains Porter and Phil Silberman. Pamela Ann Rains Porter was a leading citizen of the Golden Strip area. She was born and raised in Greenville, and she is the daughter of our club's longtime member, Bill Rains. She devoted much of her life to creating ways to meet young children's medical and educational needs, and she served on the board of Greenville's Child, which was responsible for initiating the First Steps program. She worked very hard to improve the standard of childcare, not only in the upstate, but all around South Carolina. And Bill Rains' experience with Rotary clearly rubbed off on his daughter. I'm not sure she had a choice as to whether or not she was going to be involved in Rotary. But Pam was an extraordinary Rotarian. She was a member of the Malden Rotary Club, where she worked closely with area youth and especially foreign exchange students. She hosted a number of them in her house, including one for 5 years, as that foreign exchange student through Rotary went through high school and then through college. Pam was instrumental in the formation of the Golden Strip Rotary Club and served as its first charter president. She lived her entire adult life maintaining a philosophy of service above self. So Pam's legacy is the life that she shared with her family, friends, the community, and others that she met along the way during her journey on Earth. Our other friend and Rotarian who died was Phil Silverman. He joined our club in 2014, and he was a loyal member of Rotary and participated in so many of our Rotary projects. Phil was the owner of Garcin Opticians and was a beloved friend, husband, and father, and he touched many in the community. His business, his staff, his faithful clientele, they just meant the world to Phil. His friends comment that they will fondly remember his smile, his compassion, and his generosity. And among the tributes to him were these. One person said, "He just made you smile. He was one of the good guys. He will be missed by everyone he touched. Phil was generous with his time and his insight. He was warm and welcoming to everyone. He was always smiling and had positive words of encouragement to his staff and to his fellow opticians. And he always seemed to have a remarkable but steady energy. Phil's heart was always in the right place." And I saw in the chat that a couple of you asked a little bit more about Phil, which you can find on the Facebook page of Garcin Opticians. So as we usually do, this is a little bit more awkward in Zoom, but we are going to light a candle for both Pam Porter and for Phil Silberman. In times of sorrow, we turn to you, O Lord. Let us bring comfort to those we remember in your service in Rotary. Bless the families in mourning and help us continue to do the work we must continue doing in their loving memory. Please join me in a moment of silence to remember Pam and Phil. Thank you. And now for the invocation and pledge. Dear Lord, we are not at all sure what tomorrow holds, but we are very sure who holds tomorrow. We thank you, Lord, for having called us to this community to live our lives and to do our work for Rotary. Grant us the wisdom and the foresight to discern what is for our own betterment and the betterment of all mankind. Strengthen us in being a part of your power and influence. Prosper us in our calling. Help us in our needs. Guide us in our work as people pursuing peace. And may peace and goodwill abide among us this day and always. Amen. The flag is behind me. So the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Connie, thank you very much. And thank you especially for those very kind memorials. So today we have, just want to let you know that Rotary this year is looking at opening opportunities. And in our club, we're opening opportunities in networking, service, and fun. As far as networking goes, next Tuesday on February the 2nd at noon, our own Teresa Miller will lead us in lunchtime conversations. These are directed conversations that give us an opportunity to bring our different points of view together and to learn how to express those and to listen to people who may have differing points of view. This is part of Rotary's peace and conflict resolution efforts. And the discussion, it will be free speech, fighting words, and violence. So we invite you to come and learn how to listen and share and to work toward peace and conflict resolution. Our next Rotary meeting will be February the 9th at noon. It's our Law Enforcement Day, which is always a big day in our Rotary Club. We will be recognizing the Police Law Enforcement Officer of the Year, the Sheriff's Law Enforcement Officer of the Year, and the Federal from our county Law Enforcement Officer of the Year. So this is a wonderful event. The stories are amazing. So I invite you to join us for our next meeting, Law Enforcement Day. Also, as far as networking goes, you are all very important to us in our Rotary Club, and we love seeing you at Zoom or at the meetings, but we're offering you an opportunity to let us know what you're thinking about Rotary. So we're going to be having an engagement series in the next couple of weeks. You'll be invited based on how long you have been in Rotary to a specific day, and on that day, there'll be meetings at noon or 4, so you can come to either one of them. And so we'd like to talk about your passions in Rotary, the progress that we've made, why it motivates you to participate, and any problems that we have in Rotary and what ideas you have that can fix them. So when you get the invitation, we hope you'll join us. We have several different Rotary leaders who will be facilitating each day. And so we want to hear from you in our upcoming engagement series. And as far as getting together, as you know from our last meeting with the mayor, they're requesting that for now in Greenville, we do not have people meeting for more than 10 to 15 people. So we have put our hybrid meetings on hold. We'll be meeting by Zoom, and every board meeting, the board gets together and looks at all the directives and also at the data, and we make a decision as to what would be best for Rotary. In the meantime, because we would all like to be able to get together as safely and as soon as possible, we encourage everyone to do their part, whatever that might be, to help us get this pandemic behind us. We also lead for opportunities in service. This month of January, we are sponsoring a uniform drive. Lisa Minnick has been a big advocate in putting this together. And at Alexander, that's our sponsor school. The children wear uniforms to mean basically, I think it's khaki or navy pants and then a different color polo top. And as you know, many people during this pandemic really are struggling. So just buying a uniform or new clothes for their children who constantly grow out of their old clothes is quite the challenge. So the school offers emergency uniforms and also uniforms for those who just are not able to purchase them for their children. So you can go onto the website and donate to Rotary charities, and that money will go toward our uniforms for now at Alexander Elementary. We also have Mask by Michelle, which is an ongoing effort. Michelle has made 3,603 masks, and she hopes to have 4,500 masks made by the end of April. Of all those masks, 630 have gone to Alexander, over 2,300 masks to Shriners Hospital for Children, and she has 400 ready to go to Shriners now. So the donations, if you would like a mask, she has all kind. Luckily, I already have my St. Patrick's Day, I have my Valentine's Day, I have my Law Enforcement Day mask. So see Michelle, she has lots of great masks available, and she is asking for a donation. Because of Michelle, we have already exceeded our annual goal for CART. So any future mask will go to our Rotary charities, which is now the uniforms for Alexander. We also open opportunities in fun. February the 4th at 4:30 in the afternoon. This is an opportunity, since we're still, many of us, taking life very easy and staying in our home, like to see our fellow Rotarians to get together. So Plain Jane's Place on February the 4th at 4:30 in the afternoon to connect, converse, and chill. So we'd love to have you join us there. Remember that Rotary is a great opportunity, and we want to share that. It's very easy these days to share via social media. So we're asking you to go on and share, ask people to let people know what we're doing in Rotary, and also invite them to join us, especially at a Discover Rotary. So think about inviting 3 friends via social media to Discover Rotary and or to a meeting. For all this information, if you want to register, volunteer, donate, you can do that easily at greenville-rotary.org. So and we invite you to join us as we open opportunities in our club for networking, service, and fun. Today, we are going to have Megan Barb, who is with United Way, and she is our 5-minute spotlight of things that are happening in our community. So Megan, we are glad to have you with us today.
Hey everybody, good afternoon. So glad to join you, and good to see so many familiar faces and new ones as well. Thank you for the invitation. A lot going on in our community, no surprise, based on the both health and economic impact of COVID-19. And the ongoing need that we see in our community as well. So United Way's mission, Greenville County, where all people have the opportunity to reach their full potential. And we do that in 3 different ways. One through education, another through financial stability, and the third through vibrant and equitable communities. And in 2020, our work, of course, was thrown a big wrench in the form of COVID-19, and United Way, along with many, many partners, including individuals in our community, really rallied together. We raised an additional $4.9 million for COVID-19 relief efforts. And something that may be surprising to some of you is that about 8,500 households just in Greenville County were about $8 million in arrears on just their utility bills. So we were able to help people pay those utility bills, pay rent bills. We continue to do that into 2021 while continuing to focus on things like education and vibrant and equitable communities. So we're delighted to partner and play this role in the community very specifically. And again, couldn't do it without so many of you on this call and the broader generosity of Greenville County. Another primary focus of ours right now is our Racial Equity and Economic Mobility Commission that was also launched in 2020 as a response to the real racial inequities that we see in our community. I do want to give a special shout out to Will Whitley from Michelin, who I see on this call, who is one of our amazing commissioners for this work that will continue to be a priority within 5 key issue areas: education, income and wealth, the criminal justice system, health, and community-wide learning. So we're very focused on that work right now within Greenville County as well. So we're pleased to be able to play this role with, again, so many in our community, and know that so many Rotarians care very deeply about the mission and the work of United Way. The final thing that I will add is that we continue to have about 50,000 people within Greenville County who experience poverty every single day. So the role that we're able to play to invite people in to lift them up and out of poverty will continue to be a focus of ours, whether that's for those of you who sit within the workplace setting that we engage or folks outside of that. There's a lot of work to do, whether it's giving, volunteering, or advocating for people who need our help most. So thank you for the support. You can visit our website at unitedwaygc.org for more information, and appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit more with you about the work of United Way.
Thank you, Megan, very much. We appreciate that. And it's just wonderful to know that there are so many people in our community who are out there helping those who are in the most need. So thank you for sharing that with us. And so today we also have a new member to introduce to the club. Joseph Lesser is our new member. Joseph is an IT guy. He's a solution specialist at Palmetto Technology Group, and they're a third-party IT company that works with mid-sized businesses, nonprofits across the upstate with IT support and security needs. So thank you, Joseph. And Joseph is from Greer, South Carolina. His wife is Catherine. And the reason Joseph joined Rotary is because his grandfather, Hewlett Sullivan, was a longtime member of our Greenville Rotary. He wants to continue his work, to work in our community, and to grow his professional network, which is exactly what Rotary is about. So Joseph, we are so happy to have you with us today. We're going to have member news by our very own Ryan Thackeray.
Hey, everybody. Today's member news is sponsored by Rotary Works, a program that our very own Terry Weaver has been involved in creating. We thank Terry and Rotary Works for sponsoring today's member news. Terry committed to presenting sponsorship gift of $25,000 for presenting sponsor for today's member news. Terry, stay on the lookout. Michelle has dropped your invoice in the mail. So what is Rotary Works? The vocational service project that has been created across zones 33 and 34. Zones are the Rotary organizational layer above districts. Our district is half of South Carolina. Zone 33 extends from South Carolina to Western Pennsylvania, and our sister zone 34 extends from the Georgia border to South America, including all Caribbean islands. It's a total of 31 districts, 1,700 clubs, and 67,000 Rotarians. This initiative spans both zones 33 and 34 and is created by Rotary Zone 33-34 District Director Stephanie Yurchik of Pennsylvania. The Rotary Works is a fascinating program if you haven't heard about it. It's a project to benefit Rotarians and Rotaractors in these zones who have experienced job losses due to the horrible pandemic that has gripped our nation and the world. Rotarians in zones 33 and 34 have volunteered their professional expertise and contributed funds to help our fellow Rotarians and Rotaractors during this time. Rotary Works includes a monthly career development webinar series, an opportunity to request the personal help of a career coach, a job board where Rotarians can post their resumes and Rotarian companies can post job openings, and even a grant program where those experiencing COVID-related job loss can apply for a $500 assistance grant. Our District 7750 has contributed $2,500 to the Impact Fund to help financially impacted Rotarians. Members of our club have taken advantage of career development webinars, and anyone can do so. Just go to www.rotary.works. You can register for the webinars, request a coach, volunteer as a coach, or apply for an impact grant if you've lost your job due to COVID. Now on to the news. John Hardaway has a 12th grandchild. Wow. Annie Stewart Hardaway was born on December the 15th to Graham and Gail Hardaway. Everyone is doing well. John, please be sure to invite young Annie to a Discover Rotary meeting whenever you feel like the time is right to recruit your new granddaughter to our great club. The Greenville Business Magazine kicked off the new year by releasing their list of Greenville's 50 most influential people. Congratulations to our very own Elizabeth Davis, Mark Ferris, Rich Hagans, Randy Jackson, and Carlos Phillips for being included on this year's list. We're proud to associate ourselves with each of you. Now, Alexis, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't give you a shout out as well for being on this list and saying thanks to you and your team at Michelin for all you do for us here at the Nature Conservancy, my place of employment, and all the good work that Michelin does to support nonprofits in our community. Thank you. Congratulations goes to Greg English, recently named Lawyer of the Year for Environmental and Real Estate Litigation by Best Lawyers. Way to go, Greg. USNS, Rich Hagens and Yulita Austin played a key part in working with Prisma Health, transforming that old Kmart to the latest vaccination location where all the hip people are going to get vaccinated. USNS was responsible for stripping and preparing 110,000 square feet of space in the facility that was once a popular Kmart location. You can imagine the challenge presented in the 5-day project span. The floors had areas where racks sat for 45 years. Thanks to the entire USNS team for doing their part to help keep our community safe. And congrats to Chantel Babb. Chantel recently joined Hilton Head-based The Greenery Incorporated as business developer. That's your member news for January. Please email me with your member news, or if you want to sponsor a member news, just let me know. Everybody have a great day. Thanks so much.
Well, we are going to hear from a very exciting leader in our community today. We are honored to welcome Alexis Garcin as our guest speaker. Alexis Garcin is the chairman and president of Michelin North America, which encompasses more than $9 billion in annual sales and 22,000 employees across Canada and the United States. And how lucky are we that in 1985, Michelin chose to move its North American headquarters to Greenville, South Carolina. You know, it makes me smile every time I drive past their headquarter building off Highway 85. And I just love your iconic mascot, Bib, which I just learned Bib is his name. And he's also known as the Michelin Man. Alexis joined Michelin in 2002 and has held numerous positions across the globe. Over the past 18 years with Michelin, he's worked in many divisions, including the car dealer channel, the passenger car division, Euromaster, truck and business division, and the global long-distance transportation business line. He and his family have lived in at least 4 countries, including France, Switzerland, Canada, and the United States. He speaks 4 languages and currently serves on the board of the United States Tire Manufacturers Association. As an organizational leader, Alexis has come to appreciate the need for constantly challenging the status quo. He understands that success in driving change requires leaders to focus on their people, leading them from time to time in uncomfortable territories. He also believes that we as humans make the difference in what we do, regardless of the digitization and the automation and whatever technology brings us, it's people that make the difference. Today, Alexis will share exciting information about Michelin's All Sustainable Strategy, a key initiative that seeks to balance the needs of people, profit, and planets. Rotarians and guests, you will have an opportunity to ask Alexis questions after his presentation, so please save them and you'll be able to type them in the chat box and then I'll moderate the discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Alexis Garcin.
Thank you so much, Kathy, for this introduction, and good afternoon, everyone. It's an incredible honor for me to be with you this afternoon. I think you've introduced me in a way that I was. I'm just amazed, and I'm very humble in front of what you just said. And thank you for that. I really appreciate the Rotarian spirit and the incredible community that you are making all together. Was especially moved when Connie started to think about Phil and Pam, 2 members that we've just lost recently. So that's really a great sign for me on how strong the Rotarian community is, which is not a surprise because I have some connection with the Rotary Club in France. As you understood, I am French, and sorry for my accent. But again, thank you for having me here. It's a great honor and privilege for me to lead Michelin's operation in North America, so US and Canada. And I just wanted to start this discussion among us to share with you how grateful I am for the way I've been welcomed together with my family in South Carolina, in Greenville, by some of the Rotarians that are not working for Michelin, but that have been just accompanying my family, taking their first mark in the Greenville area, and obviously also by other members of this club that are working for Michelin. I think especially of Vanessa, of Rodrigo, that are working for Michelin since many years. I had the pleasure to work directly with him in the past year, and also Patricia Vives and some of you, as you know, are also part of the what we call the business resource group, so that we can build within our walls an even more diverse community. Because as you well said, Kathy, I really promote the differences we have among people, because I think that differences, diversity, all of that is an incredible source of richness, and we'll for sure allude to that later on this afternoon. And the last point is that there are a lot of similarities in the values that the Rotarians are sharing with the one that we share at Michelin, mostly around people, but beyond that, and that's also something I'm going to share with you this afternoon. On the next slide, I don't want you to, and I don't mean to overwhelm you with figures, but just to help you understand what is Michelin. So we are a worldwide company. We have we're operating 19 plants in North America, across the US and Canada. We are investing a lot in research and development, so roughly 700 million euro a year, which is far more than every other actor in the tire industry. So that's a couple of figures here. I don't want to comment everything. And then on the next slide, making a zoom probably on South Carolina, you will see that we have a large presence in the upstate, as you know. As you said, Kathy, we started our first tire production in 1975, and I'm very proud to say that Michelin was one of the first, if not the first, large employer selling down its activities in South Carolina, and then the headquarters followed. We have also a R&D center. We have a testing ground at Lawrence. So we are used to call it, with the 10,000 employees that are working for Michelin in South Carolina, we call it somewhat home, even though we have some French roots. For us, South Carolina is home in the US. So just to give you a couple of figures around what is Michelin in North America. So the reason I'm with you today, and that's on the next slide, I would like to talk about you on a topic that is very close to my heart, that is at the heart of all what we do today at Michelin, which is we all what we do and all what we're going to do in the future aims at equally balancing three inseparable criteria or domains that we regroup under people, profit, and planet. And that's what that's how we call our all sustainable strategy, because we believe that if we want to remain a sustainable company, which we aim to, we have a 130 long years history. We want to be there in 130 years, so we have to be sustainable. And if we want to be sustainable in the pure meaning of those words, we have to balance equally over time people, profit, and planet. And I'm going to share some examples in the next slide with you on what that does concretely mean for us. And you will understand that actually the crisis we've been through and we are still in is giving a special meaning, or is increasing dramatically the relevancy of that strategy, because every time we start to protect or to favor one, could be profit, it could be planets. For example, we stopped mobility in the first half of the year around the world, and we could see immediately some negative impact on the rest, on the economy, on the employment, and on the people. So just a very simple way for us to say that all what we do behind this all sustainable strategy has become incredibly relevant during this time of crisis. So let's start with the people side. That is probably, again, very important, critical for us. And the first one is that we believe at Michelin that everything we do it through people and for people, meaning for our customers too. And that's why since the beginning of the crisis, we in North America and at the group level, we have put as priority number one, the health, the safety, and the well-being of each and every employees in the group. And what you see is that actually we've done a lot because it was just not only in direction. We have really been extremely diligent in translating into facts this very first orientation. So obviously we have applied, like in all companies, and obviously some of you are business owners, so you know exactly what I mean. We have been putting in place from day one strict safety protocols. And we are still today making observation across all of our sites to make sure they are today enforced so that we can protect each and every one today. What is interesting is that during this time, again, leveraging the incredible creativity and engagement of the people we have at Michelin, we have been innovating a lot. And I just have for you two examples that will probably speak to you. The first one is that we rapidly recognized, it was early April, that within this uncharted territory, probably having masks will be the safest way to go through these uncertain time. And that's why we decided early April to start a project that was aiming at producing masks. And I'm very proud to share with you that within 6 weeks, we're able to start the production of our own masks. And right after that, being already self-sufficient so that we could start donating masks around the country. And as of now, in 2020, we have donated 1 million masks to our communities, to first responders. And that was a way for us to support our communities during those difficult times. Another example is one employee took that on his free time and invented what we call an ear savers that you can put behind your head so that you have less, I would say, pain around the ears when you wear a mask the whole day long. Or another one, that's the last example I'm going to share with you, has been inventing what we call a ventilator splitter. So that's together with a partner of the health system in Greenville, so that with one ventilator, we could feed up to 3 patients. And that was just another example how all people have been creative to use their skill set, their knowledge, and try to support our communities during this very difficult time. And what we did also on that part to ease the situation for everyone and to play our role in the community, we have been launching several what we call Vigilance Campaign, where we have been gathering at our corporate sites in July and in many of our plants across the US, people from the local governments, from business representatives, or from the health system, so that we could talk together as one voice to the community and call everyone to be responsible and to wear a mask, because again, that was, and at least today, now that we have the vaccine, it starts to change a bit, but masks remain by far the safest way, again, to protect ourselves. And it was important for us to play that role in the community and being very clear that there was no politics at all behind those statements. It was really a human statement so that we can really try to protect ourselves and protect our communities during this incredible time. On the next slide, on the people, just to move ahead, we have also made a lot of progress on that side. And what I'm used to tell now is that you have heard a lot of people saying that after the COVID there will be a rebound, and I do not like to talk like that. I really think there will be a transformation after this COVID period. And as of now, I can share with you just a couple of examples that we will never come back to the situation we had before the COVID. In terms of communication, for example, we were used to have a monthly communication in the region, so talking to the 22,000 employees, where I would say the structure of the communication was 80% top down. So we were framing some message, we were keeping our people updated, and then we kept 20% of the time for some questions. And actually, starting of mid of March, so right at the beginning, we completely changed that. And we've been putting in place weekly communication to our people. So 1 hour every Thursday afternoon from 3 to 4, 1 hour session where everyone was invited to participate. And we completely reversed the agenda. And within 20% of the time, I was sharing the situation, what are we doing, how the company was doing in those difficult times, how we were taking care of each and every one. And then we took the remaining 80% of the time to address Q&A from the broader audience. And when I mean addressing all questions, I mean all questions, even the most controversial one. And I think that was very important for us to do that, because the more we did that, the more understood it was critical to just listen to our employees and make sure that everyone was feeling they will be heard, that we could understand what was in everyone's mind, and then we could try to address live the questions or take the question and come back a week after with some answers. And this is a way for us to have driven this the entire entity and region very safely through the pandemic, with people feeling again part of that community and very proud of all what we've been doing. And it has been a collective effort that we have been doing within Michelin. So that's really a transformation. And I will stop here because I could give you another 10 or 20 examples of things that we're going to do differently tomorrow, or that we're already doing differently versus what we have been doing before the pandemic. And we have launched, for example, one initiative that is extremely important that we call the Rise 2. So that's an initiative that was launched by a group of people, around 20 people, representing the entire diversity of the region in terms of businesses and personalities and origins. And this Rise 2 initiative has been set up just to respond to the social crisis that we have been through in around end of May, early June. And it has been extremely important for us to leverage that energy coming from our teams. And we have been listening a lot to some sessions that were really moving to hear about, okay, what people are just experiencing when they are different in the communities. And we have taken actions right from July, starting from July, and we have committed on 3 things that we made public internally and for part of them externally. First, we have decided to train all of our people on what we call the unconscious bias, so that we make sure that we are all aware about the natural and own bias we might have, not only on gender or the color of skin, but really on the diversity of thoughts, so that we can understand that we are all different. And that's exactly because we are all different that we can build a strong momentum and that we can build a strong community. So we have taken that commitment, and I'm very glad to share with you that by end of December, we have been hitting these commitments. The second one is that we have officialized for the first time our Dni Reports, sharing where we are and also sharing the progress we have to do. Because even if I'm very proud of all what we've been doing on diversity and inclusion in the past, we still have a way to go, and we have made that public so that we can share where we are again and measure against ourselves the progress we're going to do in the future. And the last commitment we took was to share a plan to establish a long-term exhibit or museum partnership in the Southeast, so that we can again promote further the diversity, and stay tuned because more information is to come on that point. We've participated obviously in December in joining the business community to sign the letter to the General Assembly and the governor, calling for a comprehensive bill against hate crimes in our state in 2021. And we also participated in the Racial Equity and Economic Mobility Commission in Greenville. That was a joint effort with United Way, and again, you were part of that, and thank you for all what you're doing in the community. So this is, again, I stop here, but this is all the kind of initiative we had to make sure that we were promoting a diverse and inclusive mindset, so that we can first try to help our communities by setting some example in the company, hoping that again at the end we can try to help this world to be more inclusive and diverse in the future. The last piece on the people side, make the last slide, the next one, is on the new leadership model that we have been developing 2 years ago, that has been incredibly relevant for this crisis time. And I think this model represents the inherent need for every one of our employees, because I consider everyone as a leader, to inspire, to create trust, to have awareness about who he or she is and what is the environment he or she is in, to be result-oriented and to empower others. And it has been incredibly relevant for the past now 12 months, because given the uncertainty we were facing and we are still facing somehow, I think we as leaders, we have to be far more humble and approachable to everyone so that we can leverage the collective intelligence that lies in our teams and in our community. And applying this model in the way we work and the way we interact together has been extremely beneficial in 2020. And I'm proud to share with you that we are making great progress on the managerial quality. And that remains a heavily point of focus for me and for the region in 2021. Again, because of the same reason, people are at the heart of what we're doing, and we're doing through them, and we're doing that for them. And the last part of the people that you probably know is that we are also heavily involved in building the workforce of the future. We have the Challenge Education Program, where we have some volunteers working in elementary schools. We have the Youth Apprenticeship Program. That's we have high school students that could acquire advanced manufacturing education or gain experience at Michelin through a paid apprenticeship. And we have, as we speak, for example, 7 in one of our larger facilities in the upstate. We have also the technical scholars, where we have hands-on work experience while earning degree in mechatronics, in mechanical engineering, in technology or electronics engineering. So all of that, they receive scholarships to cover tuition, to cover fees and the books. And they have a part-time work in a Michelin manufacturing facility. So in the last 30 years, we have had more than 1,200 people that have completed the program and become at the end a full-time reliability technician for us. So that's a way again for us to be present in the upstate, to contribute to building a competent and strong workforce for the feature, and at the same time playing our role in the community to give a chance to people, to students, so that they can understand how does a company works and what is how they can find their role and their place within companies like Michelin and others. So I've been pretty extensive on the people side. So first message for you is that yes, when we talk about people, profit, and planet, we truly mean focusing on the people first. And 2020 has been a great year of experience and a year of transformation. On the next slide, we'll switch to the second domain, which is the profit. And profit is important because we're not always used to talk about that, but profit is just by nature also one of the role of a company, because if we don't generate that, we're not able to support our people, we're not able to invest in the future. And this is why for us, we see profit as a way to make sure that we are at the end relevant for our customers. And by the biggest for us profit engine, if you allow me that expression, is to focus on innovation. And since 130 years, Michelin has been at the forefront of innovation. And if you have time, I really encourage you to have a look at the history of the two Michelin brothers that founded the company in the late 19th century. They have been incredibly innovative in the way they have been setting up the company and in its activities today. So we focus on that, and we spend a great amount of time and resource to make sure that we stay relevant over time for our customers. And again, the innovation is for us the way to gain and to maintain that relevancy. And obviously, we have great partnership with some car manufacturers. We're working with almost all of them to help them overcoming the challenge of what we call the CASE race, which is the connected, autonomous, shared, and electric vehicle. And we have a lot of programs here supporting them and bringing new innovation on each one of those domains for making the mobility safer and better in the future. We are on a regular basis recognized as being a supplier of the year, the latest award being received from General Motors in December 2020. And we have been, you said on the previous slide, the innovation of what we call the Vision tire that we unveiled in 2017. That was the first tire that we unveiled that was without air. If you can stay on the previous slide, don't move too fast. I'm going to tell you when to switch slides. Thank you. Is the first airless tire, organic tire, rechargeable, so that we can get prepared for a better mobility. And we have been unveiling 2 years after the Uptis, which is the second generation of that tire that we have developed with General Motors, and that will bring the first, again, the tire, air-free tire on the market by 2024. And on that slide, you see the last, I would say the last strong innovation we have already brought to the market, which is the Twill, which you can find today on skid steers, on the UTVs, ATVs, and the zero-ton commercial movers, also some golf carts. And that's a way for us just to be sure that we are preparing ourselves for the future of mobility and switching from traditional tires to really a revolutionary one that will be also much more environmental friendly, because we believe again that we have to manage over time equally this notion of bringing profit and bringing economical developments, but at the same time protecting the planet and obviously ensuring the mobility of the people. And these tires, like the Twill, are produced here in the upstate on the Donaldson campus. It has been invented in Greenville, so I think that's why I wanted to emphasize that together with you this afternoon. Switching maybe on the next slide, as we talked about our commitments to South Carolina, you may have seen some news, recent news in December, covering our commitment to continue to invest in the upstate. We have mentioned the 100 million in the Greenville County and 75 million in the Spartanburg County. It's just for us a way to say that we are dedicated to grow in the upstate and make further investments. Obviously, for us, the South Carolinian ports are extremely important. This is critical for us to our business. We use on a regular basis the port of Charleston, the inland port that is also very close to our new distribution center that we built here in Greenville that we call U70. And these ports and inland Port Greer is a rail-served inland terminal that is extending the port of Charleston's reach 212 miles inland by providing overnight rail services via the Norfolk Southern. And the use of rail instead of the road for us is a way to reduce the air emissions and to contribute to have a better planet and to protect better environments. And our two plants in South Carolina that are, for example, Anderson and Lexington, that are producing earth mover, they use that railroad, and because we are exporting 70% of the tires we're producing here in the upstate. And the last example on the planet, on the next slide, we just mentioned the new distribution center that we opened early 2019. And that's, I think, a great example on what we mean by combining at the same time people, profit, and planet. This distribution center is the equivalent of the 57 soccer football field. So it's a massive distribution center. It's one of the biggest in the world, and we have made it environmental free, and we received the gold LEED certification for that. And I'm very proud because it's just again another mark of the commitment we have to combine the growth, the economical developments, and the planet at the same time. And we have set very concrete goals and ambitions on the planet side by first to reduce the environmental footprint we have from our operations. Since 2005, Michelin as a group has already reduced by 50% its impact, but we believe we have to go further. And we are targeting now carbon neutrality by 2050. And in fact, we have already starting to deliver that because we've unveiled our first, I would say, emission-free plants in France in 2020. So that's the first lever. The second is that we keep on what we call building green. I just mentioned the National Distribution Center that was built and unveiled 18 months ago that is completely environmental free. And on the next slide, something that it might be interesting for you to know is that we are investing a lot in what we call bringing a safer and a greener mobility. We have been launching in the market more than 30 years ago, the first what we call green tire, which is a tire that is optimized on the rolling resistance, which is the definition for the friction of the tire on the road. And the first tire that was optimizing that was launched again 30 years ago and could be translated into fuel consumption on that time. So we are really ahead of what we're experiencing now. And we have built on that knowledge and momentum, and we have been incredibly investing on that, on those innovations, so that we can keep on providing what we believe are the best and the safest tires in the world, but at the same time to make them environmental free and optimizing the rim resistance with a positive impact of on fuel consumption. And this strategy is incredibly relevant today, as the market is getting, the car market is getting more electrified, and we have more hybrid vehicles on the market. I don't know whether you paid attention to that, but I was trying to read this morning, for example, that already last year, 70% of the new cars sold, for example, in Norway, or 35% in Sweden, were already electric. So there are some movement around the world that are really trending towards those hybrid or electric vehicles. And this is why we believe this is important, that we keep on investing here and provide the best solution possible for this kind of vehicle. And we have been investing a lot since more than 15 years on hydrogen, as we believe that it is a great combination or great add to the electric vehicle, because when you combine electric vehicle and hydrogen, you are able to increase by a factor 7 the range of an electric vehicle, while being completely emission free. So that's why we're investing a lot on hydrogen, and we have great plans to develop that business all over the world. I would like to close that session with the next slide, talking a couple of minutes on the Michelin Corporate Foundation, because you understand that we have of course a great role to play on the development of our economy wherever we are present in the world, but also in our communities. And to that extent, we have been creating in 2014 the Michelin Foundation, which is focusing basically on 5 areas. The first one is the sustainable mobility, I just mentioned in the last few minutes, on education and on the community, protecting the environment, the sport and health, and heritage and the arts. And the theme of helping people move forward and seek to promote long-term projects in all countries where Michelin is present. And there are just 2 examples I can mention this afternoon on Greenville. We have been donating $1 million for the creation of the Unity Park, so to restore a span of the Reedy River that runs through Greenville in Unity Park. And along the river, we'll build an expansive 9-acre green space that will be named Michelin Green, and we are grateful for that. And adjacent to the Park Visitor Center, and as the central focal point on the park, Michelin Green will serve as Unity's park gathering place and lawn seating for the park's outdoor stage. So that's just one example of what we're doing to, again, support the communities. And the second example, which is even closer from the mobility, is the Green Link. We have an 825,000 grant over 3 years that will be matched with the federal funding. So to help Green Link to significantly increase their low emission bus fleet, so that we can have less emission in the Greenville area generated by some public transportation. So as a conclusion for today's session, I just want to summarize a few messages that I think are important. The first one is that this all sustainable strategy is incredibly relevant today, as we believe, and I think it will echo to some of the things you might hear around you, that we have to manage as a company, at least over time, people, profits, and planets. Because every time we favor one, over the time, it will be at the expense of the 2 other ones. And being sustainable, meaning managing that with the same intensity over the time. The second is that on the COVID side, we have put our people first during the COVID, and I'm very grateful for that decision. And we've learned a lot. And today, that's clearly a transformation, just more than a rebound. And the third message is that for us, South Carolina is a special state. It's a special home. We are dedicated to South Carolina, to its people, to its economic development. And we are very grateful for the choice we made now more than 40 years ago, and we're looking for the next 40 to 60 years ahead of us. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope we still have time for some questions you might have. Thanks again for having me today.
Thank you, Alexis. We do have a number of questions. Jane, how much time do we have?
Yes, if we could take questions till about Let's take at least 5 more minutes of questions and then we can.
Okay, super. All right. Well, we have a question from Ryan who asks that it's great to hear about Michelin's commitment to sustainability. Are there plans to inspire your suppliers and competitors to follow suit?
Yes, Ryan, the answer is yes. We so to support the 2050 emissions free, we will ask our suppliers to also follow us on that path. So obviously, we won't expect every supplier to be ready by 2021 or 2022, but at least we will make sure that over the time, we select the suppliers that are engaged into that path so that we can secure the fact that we as a company will be there in 2050 and leveraging suppliers and partners that have committed to the same objectives. Very important.
Very good. We have a question from Seth in the innovation aspect. How is the continued growth in the electric vehicle market affecting your operations and production?
It's impacting it quite in a quite significant manner, but also in a positive manner, because I mentioned with you the rolling resistance challenge, again, the friction between the tire and the road. And I'm not an expert at all in chemistry, but what we will all understand is that if you have more friction, the electric vehicle will use much more power to move forward. And that's why for us, we see a tremendous opportunity in that market move to develop further to have better tires that will further optimize rolling resistance. Because just to give you one latest example that we unveiled in Europe and that we will be launching in Europe in March, the next generation of one tire range in Europe is dedicated to those electric vehicles, and it will extend the range of the vehicle by 7%. So there is a direct impact between the quality of the tire and the performance of the car. So for us, it means a lot in terms of opportunity so that we can help, obviously, the car manufacturers and provide, at the end, the consumers with the most powerful and the better offer possible. And obviously, it requires, on our side, some investments in our industries, in our manufacturing capacities, so that we can adjust our system to be compatible with this new generation of tires that require extremely complex mixing and technologies to make sure that we improve the rolling resistance without degrading other performance like wear, like wet grip or dry grip, which are extremely important for the safety of the consumers.
Okay. We have a question from Ramona. Alexis, are there any current challenges being posed by Greenville for Michelin, whether it's housing, transportation, anything that is happening in Greenville that's kind of creating an issue for the growth plans that you have for Michelin?
I think we are well, and again, I'm very grateful for the way Michelin is integrated into the Greenville community. I won't say that we have specific and massive challenges because we have, again, access to many people in the community to be able to discuss that in more detail should we were facing some severe challenges. Maybe if I focus on let's say on the midterm, for sure, improving the public transportation, the quality of the roads, and the quality of the workforce is critical to us so that we can remain competitive in the upstate and across North America.
Okay, awesome. We have a question about your COVID travel restrictions, if those have been affecting Michelin, and what you're doing to keep traveling employees, and your customers safe during the pandemic. And then the person who asked that question did want to thank you for producing and distributing so many masks. But how are the travel restrictions affecting your workforce and your customers?
I think it's part of the transformation I was mentioning. I think at the beginning, we thought collectively that it's going to be a challenge for us to maintain our activities, the contact with our customers without being able to travel. But I would say very rapidly, within probably 2-3 weeks, we understood that that's a different model is possible. And as we speak and as we prepare now, we've been preparing 2021, we really took as an assumption in the travel, because still now we are limiting the travel given the pandemic. We took as an assumption that in 2021, we will by far not come back to the travel we're used to do in 2019. because we have learned to work differently, and our customers did the same. So I think this is really a different way of interaction with customers, where we are now not systematically looking for a physical contact, but we can solve now a large percent of the interaction remotely, which is more efficient for everyone. So there will be an impact over the time on the way we travel.
Okay. All right. There's one question. Let me just check if I can phrase this correctly. Okay. All right. This is a big one. What is your response, Alexis, to those who would say that Michelin is spending too much time on diversity and that the problem of racism is exaggerated and overblown?
Yeah, that's part of the diversity of thoughts I was mentioning. I think we just need to find the right balance, and I think today I'm not sure we were as a whole focusing enough on that, because we have to understand that we have some challenge in our communities, and we have some challenge also within our walls. And I think it's time for us to emphasize that a bit more, because I truly mean what I said. Diversity is a source of richness. But the other point that is behind the question is, this being said, we have to stay true to our values and focusing on the competencies and the quality of our people, because at the end, diversity is important, and I mean every diversity, and we just have to make sure that we also have the right people at the right place. So that this is the fine line to be found between promoting diversity and also respecting the fact that we need to have the best people everywhere in the organization. But I would say today that we still have a lot to do, and to recognize first that we need diversity, we need diverse people from diverse backgrounds. So I'm not sure we can say that we are today spending too much time on that. I think we still have some progress to be done, but that's something I'm going to observe, because I'm representing at the end 22,000 employees in the region, and I want to make sure that I stand for each and everyone, whatever their opinions are. I need to respect that, but I just need to find the right balance. And I think leveraging the RISE 2 initiative we had is a great way to better balance our activities on that very important topic.
Awesome. And the last question, just to frame up, you heard a little bit about our Rotary Works program, helping to get unemployed Rotarians up and down our zone and region, gainfully employed and contributing. So the final question is, are you hiring?
We do. We are hiring, and as every company, we are going through a transformation, because some work, some tasks are evolving. We have more digitalization coming, so there is always movement. And the day we stop moving, I think it will be a very bad mark regarding our ability to remain sustainable. So yes, we are always hiring. And if from time to time we are optimizing part of our organization, is that because we also want to invest and get prepared for the future. So yes, we have some specific skills and métiers where we are today hiring.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. And I will send you the other questions that we didn't have time for, but we so appreciate your insights and your leadership and your presence in South Carolina.
I thank you all very much for your time and for having me today with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Alexis. I'd like to share with you that what you've shared with us today, not only for people in business, but for our organization in Rotary, as we are transforming into the future of how we need to put people first and respect all people. And I'd like to say my husband, who I mentioned flew for Michelin North America years ago, had the opportunity to fly Mr. Francois Michelin several times. And he always came back and said what a humble and kind leader he was. So you are carrying on that tradition, and we appreciate everything you do for Greenville and sharing some insights with us as we all look to transforming our new day after this pandemic and what has affected us. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you, of course, to all our guests who have joined us today. We hope that you will look into Rotary and how you can be a part of our opening opportunities into networking, service, and fun. We thank you for our Rotarians and those who continue to volunteer to make our community a stronger place. Our next meeting will be Law Day, and I understand that our new Chief of Police, Howie Thompson, is with us today, and we look forward to having him at our next meeting, as we'll be recognizing our Law Enforcement People of the Year, which is wonderful. And we are thrilled to have our newest member, Joseph, with us. So thank you all for being with us today. And like always, we would like to close our meeting by reciting the four-way test. And of the things that we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you so much. And that's the end of this meeting, and look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.